if you're netted, you're not going anywhere. So
Your Illuminate is gonna hit. Yep, that's, and of course Magnus can set up some nice RPs with this Song of the Siren as well, but not this game, because he gets banned out and MiTH has to decide what else they're going to be getting. They need another carry unless they want to use Weaver as a carry, in which case they need an offlane, but I'm kind of thinking Weaver safe lane solo, which is also what TongFu is expecting, so I'll just agree with them in this one. And they don't have that much time left. This is all the time they have left, and I don't know.
It's the Sand King again.
Yeah.
And I mean TongFu again have space to pick up another range support, which is gonna make things. It's gonna make things tough. And I mean even seeing MiTH's lineup. I mean I don't normally like seeing Rubik and Shadow Demon on the same team because they kind of fulfill the same role. But I mean when you see Sand King, when you see Magnus on the other side of the pond, I don't know. I think I would be tempted to. Especially with Cobble as well. I mean, there's some very, very stealable spells for Rubik right now. Tons of mobility.
5 seconds
tons of damage. No, I'm biased. Rubik is my favorite hero. So maybe I just wanna see some Rubik.
Well, he would fit up really well because not only can you steal the Illuminate and the Burrow Strike, but also the RP and the Shikushi should not be underestimated. Is a lot of early game damage also if you steal it when you are just level 6 as a Rubik. But
and it got buffed recently as well.
Yeah. That too. But I kind of also imagine that also with the Soul Catcher, by the way. That's even sicker, but you kind of can't imagine that because that would be laning phases, and when Rubik is level 60 probably laning phase is over. But I'm kind of wondering if TongFu is still going to go for that jungle hero because they had that previous game, and I'm kind of thinking they could still do that because no aggressive tri lane right now is going to be, or not with the Keeper of Light Sand King, is going to really be able to kill off the anti-mage because Shadow Demon is not going to let himself get caught out, and there will be a disruption for the anti-mage if he gets Burrow Strike, so he will miss the Illuminate.
Yeah, I mean TongFu could be really greedy and get
10 seconds
a jungler,
remaining.
but I think the bigger deal is just making sure that their solos are going to be
5 seconds remaining.
strong. Again, I'm still not 100% if MiTH are going to be going for this aggressive try with Coddle Weaver Sand King. But TongFu pick up a Leshrac. They've got a huge combo with Shadow Demon. I think we've been seeing this for months now.
Yeah, in all scenes also.
Yeah, Leshrac doesn't get the opportunity to leave the metagame ever. I mean, I think he's been around since TI1.
Yeah, before that also, because I remember one of the first, or when I just started casting, I of course watched a lot of other casts to try and get these standard knowledge things and stuff. So I always said like Leshrac, one of the heroes that is strong in early, mid, and late game. Basically, that was my line that I constantly said. And we've seen a lot of Leshrac solo mid, of course, as well. When last year. So we can. Wow, still a Phantom Lancer.
Okay, so
Keeper of
MiTH Trust are
Light
going
PL.
for the we have Coddle PL. We would like to win the game now.
Yes.
It's good against AM. It's good against AM because AM can't actually just say, "Oh, I'm gonna outfarm the Phantom Lancer." That's absolutely fine, and then I can just cleave down all the illusions. That's not something that can happen.
No,
So
no. In a man fight, a Phantom Lancer will win
yeah,
when
exactly.
full
So
item slots.
Yeah, so anti-mage can't just sit back.
Spirit is alive.
TongFu, they've got no intentions of sitting back. They're gonna pick themselves up a Storm Spirit. So
Yeah. So there's gonna be a mid-storm Clockwork on the off lane. I'm kind of still hoping to see Shadow Demon and Leshrac roaming around a lot because I don't think the anti-mage will need them that much, and I think the I think it's gonna be a safe lane for MiTH Trust, but we'll find out, I guess. But I'm hoping that they are, because they can be aggressive. They have got Storm Spirit. When he gets level 6, he can be aggressive. Disruption, Split Earth are gonna be there, and they just want to buy time for How to farm up. So it is going to be How on his anti-mage, Moo on the Storm Spirit, his Sunshine playing the Shadow Demon, Banana on the Leshrac, and that will leave only one player. It is King J playing the Clockwork on the Suicide Lane solo.
do you want me to do?
Yeah, please.
Okay, sorry.
No, that's
Okay, so on MiTH Trust we have R5 again playing the Sand King. TNK is going to be on the Magnus. SD going to be playing the Weaver Lakells on Phantom Lancer, and that leaves, well, last but not least, Mula to play the Keeper of Light, and he is standing in for MiTH this game.
Yeah, and I do believe safe lanes would be the way to go, even though Weaver doesn't really look like he is going to be going for a suicide lane for now. I don't know. I'm seeming to remember that Sand King is actually one of the signature heroes of R5, but I'm not entirely sure. I have to say that he does have a very cool outfit.
Yeah, he's very decked out. So,
Yeah.
Gets bonus points for that one. Let's look at starting items. So it looks like Coddle is going to be... Yeah, so Myth not looking to be aggressive in the slightest. We don't have a smoke picked up. I don't know where R5 is actually going right now. I think he's going to do some warding, but it really looks like Coddle's just going to be maybe farming up the jungle a bit, trying to get those levels and just defending as long as they can. Oh,
Did you see that?
Yeah,
He stole the invisibility room with the Shikuchi. He's actually
Shikuchi into invis. Yeah.
Yeah.
He needs to be careful though. There are definitely sentries. A lot of people would say, "Oh, it's a free invis. It's a free experience rune." You know, as a nickname for the invis, but SD's gonna have to be really careful here and make sure that he keeps track of the sentries at all times.
Yeah, and he probably already knows that one is being placed the moment that he sees Leshrac, so he's not gonna be. He can't be showing himself all too much. At least he's gonna be blocking a pool maybe. If he he can't do that anymore. Not enough duration. But he is gonna be on the solo suicide lane by himself. Magnus in the middle lane, and that leaves a semi kind of tri lane on the bottom lane with Keeper of Light and Phantom Lancer there to harass King J as much as they can. And R5 is actually pulling and stacking in the jungle and gonna try to get as much as he can there without really getting any farm that or any experience that Lakel's would need.
Yeah, and I mean, Myth can basically have a jungler. If either Keeper of Light can come down and blast down stacks, or Sand King can even opt to get 1 or 2 points in Caustic and actually help clear them out very, very quickly. So, Myth, hopefully, as we head towards 10 minutes or so, should be sitting at a little bit of an experience lead.
Looks like King J is already in some trouble. R5 walks past the cogs twice, is now no longer the owner of mana enough to go for Burst Strike, which it looked like he wanted to do. I mean, he just walked in there, didn't hit a single creep, got down to half HP, below half mana.
Yeah, I mean, just clicked the Burst Strike on King J and that pathed him straight into the cogs. So
Yep.
unfortunate. And again, I mean, Sand King's stun is just so weak at level 1 in terms of the range.
In the meantime, SD is trying to get as much as possible. It's actually able to pull Centaur towards his lane. Gonna be able to deny some of the creeps perhaps if Banana doesn't take them anyway, which is actually the case. I mean, you see him being very careful. As you said, he already know that Banana has that central ward place, so he can't really get in range. He has got a bit of experience, but I'm not surprised to see him being this passive.
The nice thing for him is that TongFu are actually opting to have the Leshrac harass the Weaver out of lane, and I mean, Weaver, you don't really want to fight him 1v1 early, so I'm interested to see that Sansheng is the one doing the pulling, because if it were Shadow Demon trading blows with the Weaver, then he'd have to be a lot more cautious, because there's always the potential for him to get disrupted, and Leshrac comes out of nowhere.
Yep.
But I am doing a fine job of harassing him back anyway. And I guess we should make a deal that we're only going to call Weaver SD, and we're only going to call SD Sansheng. Otherwise, this might get confusing.
Oh, you're right. I didn't really think about that yet, but you're right. Sunshang and SD. Sunshang it is. And SD actually being forced back to base out of mana completely with those burns, as you said. And gonna be level 1 still. But by the time that he comes back, the central ward will be gone. The first central ward. And I don't think Banana is gonna be placing a second, because, or at least not yet until he knows he can actually get a kill with that.
And the nice thing as well for Myth is that the supports don't need all of this experience that's sitting in the jungle right now, so SD can actually come down, have the supports clear out the stacks for him, and just soak up the experience. So, I mean, Myth have another way to kind of jungle the Weaver. I mean, even if he's just diligent and sits there stacking, he can get some experience up. So the support combination for Myth does give them more options, gives them more flexibility, and I mean, they're the stallier lineup. They've got the Phantom Lancer, they're not really looking to risk too much. It's all on the shoulders of TongFu to get stuff done as we head towards the mid game.
Yep, and Storm Spirit's still level 5, but the moment he is level 6, we're gonna probably see him being a lot more aggressive, because like you said, they are the ones that are supposed to be determining the pace, because they can't sit around and wait until Phantom Lancer is big and fat and ugly. It's all gonna rely on the aggression of TongFu, and maybe a bit of a push on the top lane, which is already starting to happen. Gonna be going for the tier 1 tower, realizing that there's no longer a Weaver there. Actually, there is, but at least able to force him back. An edict already from Banana. Level 2, fortification forced out. SD trying to gain some experience here perhaps, but he'll see his tower go down.
Yeah, and I mean, he's having such a tough time. But
Now, How is having a bit
It
of
is-
a harassment issue. Whoa, wait a second. It is gonna be Moo who's gonna be harassed here in the mid lane. Hasted Magnus
Radiant's
coming
top
around.
tower is under attack.
But King J coming in as well to help out.
Radiant's top tower has fallen.
SD completely out of mana now.
Dire's bottom tower
And
is
How
under
gets the
attack.
last hit on the tower as well. 2.5k gold on Anti-Mage, almost 5 minutes in, that is. I mean, the question was, well, is Anti-Mage going to be
Dire's
relevant
bottom tower
before
is under
PL?
attack.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think the answer is yes. So we'll see. I think there are definitely decisions for Lakells to be making this game, whether or not he's going to be going for a very farmy build, or whether he's going to be going for, you know, a little bit more aggressive in team fight. But
Radiant's
TongFu, I don't know if they're
top
giving
tower
him a
is under
choice.
attack.
They're going to go for the tier 2 on top.
Yeah, and they're gonna be forcing also the other supports to come in here. Illuminate's flying through. There is a Sand King hanging around. Sun Sheng taking a lot of harassment from that Illuminate. Tower is still getting harassed though, and that Edict will be up again in 6 seconds. TP incoming from the Weaver, very aggressive TP. And they will be able to stop the push from happening with that one, but... I mean, Tower only down to 300 HP. One more push, they will be dead. And what can Myth really do against it?
And the really nice thing for TongFu as well, going for this push, is that it frees up space for King J on bot. So he's almost level 5 already. He was already having an okay time because the supports were running pulls and stacking things up instead of trying to harass him out of the lane. But now that they've TP'd top, as soon as he saw them, he just walked straight in, started soaking up experience, and level 6 shouldn't be too far away for him.
Oh, and TongFu looking for first blood because we still haven't had a first blood, and Sunshine and Banana with the smoke up going from mid. They have to be careful though because an RP is on the board and Magnus also has an illusion rune. So it's not gonna be an easy job. Actually, TNK sitting on full health and mana. And he has got
This time
some
the mid
backup
supports-
as well.
Yeah, they suspect what's going on this time. And we talked about this last game. TongFu were the ones, you know, predicting the movements and seeing what was going on. But, oh wow.
Nice
You know,
pause.
we talked at the same deal. We said, you know, well, Moo was being great because he was just, you know, throwing rockets everywhere, keeping an eye on where the myth supports were. We've got the exact same deal happening mid right now. So I think we'll see if this gank attempt continues.
My loyalty.
Yeah, I don't think so. TongFu already backing off, and the rest of the supports also realizing that they have been scouted out, and Myth also retreating. So, well, that was an attempt at first blood, but both thinking exactly the same. That doesn't work that way, so oh well. If you were to say right now, if I was asking you, you know, where is the first blood gonna be? Where? And who?
Ooh.
And which
Where
team?
and
so.
who? I don't know. I feel like there's still a really good chance that, well, keep your eyes on Shadow Demon and Leshrac. I think is all I can say. And maybe the most likely is probably SD at top. He's still having a really rough time, and there's always this temptation to just push things a little bit further, get that little bit of experience out.
Extra
help
last hit. Oh god, I remember.
Yeah.
Yeah. Just one more last hit. I can take this one. They don't come yet. I can relate.
Yeah, and I mean, TongFu, they're hunting. They've got an observer ward in the lane, so even if the lane is pulled all the way back, SD isn't necessarily safe.
I have to say, by the way, that Myth Trust is making very good use of their jungle, a lot more than TongFu is. They have been stacking and pulling every single camp, and their supports are getting a lot more than the supports on the Dire side right now.
Dire's
And
bottom
well,
tower
I
is
say a lot
under
more,
attack.
even though Keeper of Light doesn't even have boots yet, but they keep also the wards up, so in terms of that, they do have... They just have a lot more control, it feels like, even though Sunshine just stacked as well, so they're trying the same thing, but they're only doing it with one camp, while Myth is doing it with two.
Yeah, so everybody's banking up a little bit of experience. Looks like tier 2 on top, in trouble. SD the only one defending for now. We'll
Yeah,
see if
Tower
anyone else is
will
going to come
go
in. Yeah, Keeper of the Light wasn't
Radiant's
actually
top
carrying a
tower has
TP
fallen.
there. He's going to pick one up now, but it's a little bit too little too late. So that's another tower going down, and how? I mean, I don't know how. Yeah, this Battle Fury is none too far away at the moment. Actually, still a little bit.
Yeah,
But we're
well,
only 8 minutes in.
Goldcraft going, of course, very much in favor of TongFu with those two towers down. But if you consider that there are indeed two towers down, and Antimage did indeed get one of those last hits, and you look at the net worth and you compare Antimage and Phantom Lancer, Lakells is doing really well. Still. He is 1k
Yeah.
gold behind, but with the tower difference, that's actually nullified again. As soon as
and
he
the
gets towers.
supports are doing a lot to help maintain this situation. And how can a blink into the trees on top? TNK's hunting. I'm not gonna find him. So.
Oh, and the RP of course up. Also one of those abilities that you have to watch out for perhaps getting a first blood, as Moo is actually a bit risky in the jungle. I mean, I keep scouting out the top bar for, yeah, and he just scared me thinking he was gonna die, and I didn't think he was near a hero. He wasn't, he was in the jungle, but yeah, very risky. And also one of those heroes, Storm Spirit, if he ball lightnings in on the support, if that support is by himself,
mid.
Keeper of the Light will die. No, it was Unchained that died, but yeah, that was
predictions all wrong. I guess we should have been looking at, I guess the Shadow Demon part was right. But
the Shadow Demon part was right, but what was he doing there? Because Banana was nowhere to be found, or at least not close enough to do anything really. And I think he was that greedy one that said, "Oh, one more last hit, I can be here."
One more last hit. The supports aren't here. They're not looking for me. They're looking for Anti-Mage.
Yeah, they're gonna kill off as a hero that matters, not little old Shadow Demon. Yeah, well, he paid for that. That was just pure overextension, risky play. He can only account that to himself. As King J is also getting harassed a lot. He of course still has to deal with that annoying Phantom Lancer, even though he doesn't really have the support of the doesn't have the support of the Keeper of Light anymore. And the Ball Lightning is of course there, the Vortex as well. They do have the Dust with them as well. Lakel's a bit low on mana. We'll have now the Keeper of Light again to fill him up in 3 seconds. But yeah, he has to be careful.
I don't know if he suspected something has gone wrong or if he's actually just gone back for mana at the moment. So
how do you think it like this? Like they are leaving the Observer Ward standing there intentionally so that King J is apparently alone, There goes the Vortex. Lakel's gonna be in trouble. Illuminate will fly through though. King J might be in a lot of trouble. He actually dodges it. Never mind, that actually still gets hit and will not die, even though Phantom Lancer does die. Moo picking up the kill. King J getting out barely with his life. And he thought he was gonna die there, but no can do. And now they can destroy the Observer Ward from him.
Yeah, I don't think TongFu are gonna take no for an answer with that gank. We have Dust up on both Storm Spirit and Clockwork, and Sansheng brought sentries. I just don't think there was any stopping them there. I think PL was, unless he was hugging all the way back behind the tower, he was gone. Yeah. PL is going for a slightly fightier build. He's picking himself up a Drum of Endurance, so not really rushing anything to help him speed through the jungle. It's just going to be maybe a little bit more early game effectiveness, which kind of nice to see. They do know that they got pressured really hard by TongFu last game, and TongFu are looking to do stuff. I mean, they've got huge initiation from both Storm and from Clockwork, so hopefully that'll be consistently used to consistently get kills.
Yeah, and of course also by time for Hao to get his extra farm up, because he is almost ready with his Battle Fury, and when that happens, he is gonna go out of control. I mean, he's already so far ahead on net worth, even now with, of course, Lakel's dying. That helps him out a lot as well. No towers down yet on TongFu helps him out as well, and he is gonna be given the time by MiTH if MiTH isn't doing something to shut him down. And they are not. They still have an RP on the board that they haven't used yet.
Yeah, and I mean, in abilities, you need to not be waiting around forever for the perfect team fight for. You see a kill, you take a kill. Yeah. I mean, if you're in the situation for MiTH, you can't be saying, oh, eventually 3 of them will dive and I'll get the RP and, that'll be a great team fight. You just gotta say, Weaver needs help, Phantom Lancer needs space. It's up to me and the supports to be doing things, and I mean, Magnus needs to be setting things up. He's at level 9, he's at a huge peak in effectiveness. He's got, the maxed out skewer, he's got reverse polarity off cooldown. I think hopefully see him do something instead of just farming. He can maybe afford to farm to his blink, but beyond that, hopefully, TNK, I put the weight on his shoulders last game, say, winner, you had an okay lane, you did the best out of all 3 lanes, you need to be the one trying to get something done, and yeah, hopefully the same thing will happen, this game. It's the same onus on him.
Yeah, and they're actually smoking up and going top. Anti-Mage is the target, but Anti-Mage, he actually went in the forest to farm. That kind of means his Battle Fury and his treads are ready. He doesn't need lanes. Strong Anti-Mage need no lanes. That's what he says. And yeah, he can just farm in the jungle without any problems. In the meantime, I kind of like that. I mean, during the draft, we said that Lishrak was one of those heroes that you always see, and is probably never ever gonna fade out, and has been played also on solo lane, solo mid earlier on. And he is actually gonna be the one that is trying to get some farm here in the mid lane, trying to get those levels up, and he wants to be that Lishrak that can just walk around, run around with his Edict up, with his Nova up. Maybe
look how suspicious Hao is. Look how suspicious he is. He's sitting all the way at the top of the map. He knows something is up. I mean, he's lumberjacking his way into those trees. He is 100% suspicious that something is happening right now.
With
And he
the
is
only
not
one
gonna-
visible on the map being Lakel's and SD. Yeah,
Yeah,
and
exactly.
while before, of course, I mean, Magnus has not left his lane up until now.
Yeah, you know, this all smells a bit fishy, but TP starts bot. Oh, this is trouble. Keep it
Yeah,
light.
Keeper of Light goes down. In the meantime, in the mid lane, we also have an RP. It's Banana that they want, Banana that they get. On the bottom lane, the fight continues as well. We might have Moo trying to jump for someone. No, that was it, actually. That kill on the Magnus and on the Keeper of Light. Two fights happening at the same time. You saw the TP. Magnus TP'd bottom because he thought it was going to help there. Realized it was too late. Let the Keeper of Light die. Went for Banana instead. Got the kill. Without an RP, actually. Just a burrow strike. But a support for a support trade. Still okay-ish.
Yeah, and every time you murder the Keeper of the Light, you kind of enable a push a little bit. So, you know, keeping him down not a bad objective. Though he is already level 8. I mean, this jungle pull, this jungle farming from MiTH has gotten the levels on the supports. I mean, Sand King's already got level 6. He's got some arcanes up. Blink will probably be a while, but yeah, I think MiTH doing well, making the right moves. They're still yet to really lose too much presence. They just have to hold on to these tier 1s. And then I think they're kind of sitting pretty. Just got to keep Lakel's defended as well.
Yeah, we have got the Blink Dagger up on the Magnus in the meantime, so we're gonna see some more aggressive play from him hopefully soon, as he still hasn't used his RP yet, even though we're 15 minutes into the game, and he's level 10, almost has level 2 RP actually. But yeah, he can of course go a bit more aggressive right now. But the thing is, I guess, I mean, I understand why they're not. I mean, they're in no rush. They don't want to be going into a fight when they don't know they can take it, because they have got a Phantom Lancer. In theory, they don't need to worry about, you know, making haste and ending this game. They've got Lakel's, and Lakel's is still doing okay. She is second to Anti-Mage in the net worth, but in time he will be able to be even, at least in fights, if not on net worth.
Yeah. TongFu supports are smoked again, but oh, and King Jay's walking around. This could be tough for Lakel's.
Well, the Demonic Purge is there. Where's the sentry? Where's the dust? Where's the sentry? Where's the dust? Oh my god! They went for a gank with... Oh, dust.
Yeah,
King J had the dust. And there goes the mana for TNK. Maybe he can get something though. He can get Banana perhaps. Edict helping out. Burrow Strike as well. Whoa, bye! Leshrac, no RP needed for solo little old Leshrac. In the meantime, Keeper of Light goes down in the middle lane. That was a solo kill that Moo got on his Storm Spirit. I mean, Keeper of Light, one of those heroes that if he's by himself and Moo is around, he will die every single time. And How just continuing his farm. And he bought something. Ooh, Vlad's. I like that. Means that he's ready to fight earlier than we perhaps anticipated, and also that MiTH perhaps anticipated on. So might see a bit more aggression coming up from TongFu soon.
And then the nice thing as well about the Vlads is just the split push power. It means that he's going to be keeping people occupied all the time. I mean, if you send only the Keeper of the Light to try and defend against the Anti-Mage, well, you know, AM, similar to Clock or Storm, is just going to be able to jump in. And yeah, that sort of keeps things at 4v4 or, you know, similar for MiTH the whole time, for TongFu the whole time, which is, you know, not a situation that they're wholly unhappy with. And the Vlads as well, how straight for the Roshan pit.
Yep, soloing, he can do that. Can he do that? We'll get a bit of help from Banana actually. We do have the gold graph fairly even, I have to say, with now also a tower going down the way of MiTH. Of course, there's still one tower in difference, but in theory the gold graph is basically 0 for 17 minutes into the game. Experience graph a bit more in favor of TongFu, but that's just for the pure control, because basically MiTH has been trying to fight in Rome, while How has been able to fight, or to find farm regardless, and TongFu just, you know, making more effective use of the lanes when MiTH were farming. Were looking for kills, that is. Wow, English, hard, I know. I have to say, I'm happy that this game is a lot more even than the first game that we saw.
Yeah, definitely. I think well, MiTH have definitely found their feet, and you know, they're getting the farm. They've got a game plan, and they're sticking to it, which is really nice to see. And Lakel's has a Diffu up now as well, so TongFu, for the most part, they're actually carrying dust, and that's, you know, they're gonna need at least 2 dust for every single gank, just because, you know, gonna be able to purge it off. So that makes, you know, PL just a little bit more survivable, and should continue to close the gap a little bit to How. I mean, he just got a huge person farm. Oh.
That was a solo kill. Orchid ready on Storm Spirit, and he shows for it by killing off Weaver solo. Uses all his mana for it, but definitely worth it. We did have Anti-Mage taking down the neutral of the agent stack in the meantime, so gets a lot more extra gold. And I actually thought that a MiTH was about to be going for a smoke, but with that kill on the Weaver on
Dire's
SD,
middle tower is
they
under
can't do
attack.
that anymore, so they don't. At least they were grouping up.
Dire's structures are fortified.
They need to get some tower gold.
Yeah, PL getting some pushing done. Nice pick off for my move. Sorry, my eyes just weren't. I didn't see that one coming at all.
Me neither. I kind of.
Well, I mean,
I missed
you
the
gotta
Orchid
keep an
being
eye
ready.
on Storm at all times, right? Now that he's got his Orchid, he's just a solo killing machine. So
Yeah.
I guess the green dot needs to be a priority. But MiTH, they're still holding on to that objective that they really need, and that's those tier 1s. They've still got control over their entire jungle. They're still stacking. They're still farming. Mikkel's is getting items, and it's just up to them to keep stalling this one out. They gotta let the cancer metastasize.
Yeah, it is anyone's game still at this point. I'm still waiting for that big ass RP that I know will come, because why else would he save it for such a long time? But no
We've got the
RP
Blink,
yet in
we've
this
got the
game.
level 2 RP. Yeah.
Blink a level 2
bot.
RP. Oh, we do
How?
have some trouble for How, but he blinks himself into trees and is able to chop himself into safety, into the hands of the ancients that he will gladly take the gold of. The shutdown is just not enough. They need an RP to shut the anti-mage down. The only thing they have basically is a burrow strike. That's the only disable that they have. Oh, by Keeper of the Light. And double damage remove. I don't think he even needed the DD room.
It's not even fair.
Yeah.
Poor Coddle.
Even though his team was like very close by, they couldn't do anything.
And now that they've killed the Coddle, they've
Radiant
enabled the
structures
push.
are fortified.
Fortification is all.
And Magnus, he's gonna blink in, gets a 2-man RP. It's gonna be How and King J. The silence is up there though. Disruption also to help out. It's gonna be TNK that goes off first. Sand King to follow straight after. Mikkel's trouble, does it up. Running for his life. I don't think he'll be able to run from this though. Nope. Last one alive is the one that is not there. It is gonna be SD's Weaver that came in too late to the party. And it is a 4-for-1 trade.
Radiant's middle
And,
tower
well,
is under
4-for-1
attack.
plus a couple of towers, I guess.
Yeah, SD's gonna try and slow things down a bit. Yeah, I mean, TongFu, they just need to get a couple of kills, and with that, I mean, they've made life a lot more difficult for MiTH. They've just lost control of, well, safe control over part of their jungle, and How, I mean, he's got no interest in giving Phantom Lancer any farm. He's actually going to be clearing out their jungle as well, so.
And that
TongFu
was
immediately taking control.
the second time actually Phantom Lancer died. How has not died yet at all. Has been actually in 3 kills, which is quite surprising considering he's been farming most of the time. And it is, yeah, it is TongFu that is now definitely pulling up ahead, and that's also because the RP, I mean, there was no follow-up. Because you said it already, Keeper of Light wasn't there, he died.
Yeah, I mean, Coddle's dead, SD wasn't in lane. And I want to just talk about the Weaver for a second, and just keeping an eye that nothing too interesting is going to happen bot. But in taking the Weaver as their offlane,
Radiant's
MiTH are
bottom
trying to
tower is
ensure the
under
late
attack.
game a little bit more. They've got PL and Weaver, 2 heroes who need time. They need space. It's just, and I guess they're paying it for a little bit. R5.
Yeah, gonna get silenced up, still gets a burst strike off before anything else though. It's gonna still get killed off most likely. Actually, Stickdart is helping out. Never mind, Moo is not giving up. He's gonna be giving up his ages just for that kill. And the rest is all gonna be running away from that one because they know they can't do anything. Also Moo backing off.
Yeah, so just another pick off for TongFu, but every single time they're 4v5, I think they're just gonna keep pushing. And How already with the Manta style finished. I mean, this is, what is the GPM right now? 600 GPM.
Yeah.
I mean, he got a tower last hit. He got a huge stat, but that is
Still pretty high.
impressive.
We do have, I mean, Weaver was saving up for a lot of gold. He had at some point 3,300 gold, and I was thinking, well, maybe he still wants to go for a Radiance or something, but he just changed his mind, I think. He just went for BKB, got himself the Ogre Club and Minthor Hammer, and will be going for that BKB recipe next. And I think that's basically the result of Moo.
Yeah,
Just
I
so
mean,
he can farm.
When you're Weaver, you want to get. I mean, most Weavers prefer to get the rounded combinations of stats. Weaver, one of Weaver's favorite items is an ultimate orb. Things like that. But in this situation, and most people are kind of loath to get a BKB. But when you're against the Storm, you have to. I mean, it's way too dangerous for him otherwise. And speaking of BKBs, Moo has his up as well.
Yep, will be even more tough to take down. Hook in, gonna be finding Lakel's. He is gonna get bursted down. There is an RP to try and help him out. Well, Burrow Strike is actually there as well. Epicenter is either late or cancelled. It's gonna be how that still picks up the clockwork, or picks up the Phantom Lancer rather. Clockwork goes down, Sand King gets picked up, TNK in a lot of trouble going down as well, and that is gonna be a monster kill for the anti-mage. Or monster kill for Mu rather, but a double kill for the anti-mage. I mean, this is out of control right now for MiTH. They have to try not to fight. And that's tough in this lineup, especially if you're gonna get a Storm Spirit against you that wants to kill you off no matter where you are.
It was a brutal turnaround. Yeah. And again, I mean, SD's just not close to the fight. MiTH have 3 heroes at the moment who have any interest in sort of slowing things down, and I don't know, maybe I can't think of necessarily who would have replaced it. Maybe they could have made their offlane pick a little bit earlier. I mean, we actually saw that picked in the first 3, didn't we? The Weaver. So we could have even seen someone like a Darkseer instead. You know, brings a little bit more team fight, get the fast mech. But instead, MiTH, they aim slightly towards the late game, and you know, now things are starting to look tough. They've lost control of their jungle, and TongFu aren't going to let them have it back. I mean, How is, I think, here to stay.
Yeah, and all the outer towers picked up as well. I kind of like we have an RP there. I think the epicenter was cancelled, right?
I'm not 100% sure what happened to the epi. It may have started and then, you know, things got a little bit weird with the coordination, and maybe Mu managed to get the Orchid off since it's pretty much, you know, it's instant. The only time that a burrow strike is long enough to get your epicenter off is if you shift Q the burrow strike, and you're also so you shift Q the epicenter after the burrow strike, but you're also standing behind the hero, so they have to turn around. If they're facing you and they have an instant ability like Hex, then yeah, and
Mu instant trouble. Burrow strike is there. Is the ball lightning gonna be in time? The BKB is there, and the ball lightning. Hello, how? Welcome to the party, Man of Void. Not gonna be able to kill off anybody just yet, as more Storm Spear still goes down. It was Weaver coming in, RP up on Anti-Mage just to get away. Should be able to be alive. Oh my god, what are you gonna do? Another Burrow Strike just to save his Sand King. And it's gonna be the Sand King that goes down to Anti-Mage just to save his Magnus. There we go, King J in a lot of trouble. Lakel's coming in, Lakel's. He is gonna be going down if he's not careful, and he indeed drops Bananas. Edict picking him up, King J. Still alive, Weaver, not so lucky, going down. Double kill for Leshrac. Banana having a happy time, and the only one that died there was the Storm Spirit, was in the end Mu, that found himself in the hands of Weaver when he was running out of that fight. But the return kills coming in, I kind of felt like they were just suiciding just to get the Magnus out of that way, because Magnus ran fast. And then Sand King came back on super low HP, so I was thinking, okay, he's gonna suicide for Magnus, that's noble. But then Lakel's came in,
yeah,
and
Phantom Lancer comes out of left field. Then.
Yeah, and basically everybody of TongFu was still there apart from Mu.
I mean, the thing is that, you know, Weaver had a BKB, nobody was really looking to focus him, so as soon as they saw Phantom Lancer, they're like, yep, that guy. And it just jumped straight on top of him. So SD was able to, you know, run around and get a little bit more damage out. But as soon as that BKB, you know, where he went straight back to being a squishy bug and just got squished. So.
Yep.
Nice to see that he's, you know, participating in a fight, picked up a pretty significant kill, got a lot of experience out because he was the only one, you know, anywhere near Mu dying. So hopefully gonna see him, you know, continue to contribute, because MiTH can't afford to sit back anymore. I mean, TongFu, they're gonna wait around another minute for Roshan. I don't know if MiTH can contest. They can maybe try. They're gonna have a reverse. And, you know, TNK is working his way towards a refresher, but it's going to be tough. I mean, TongFu now have a very clear game plan. MiTH, they had a clear game plan, but it's starting to, you know, unravel a little bit at the edges. And bot, another kill.
Bug squished. I was just thinking, like, there's a pretty high turtle potential still for MiTH. I mean, with the TNK, come on, you saw that one coming. Lance is gonna help out. Burrow Strike actually up on King J. Split Earth whiffs completely. Edict put up by Banana, but there's nobody around there to take any damage from it anymore, unless they can get something done. How? Passing through enemy territory unharmed. Mu coming in from the sides, maybe looking for a pickup. If you're gonna be finding the right Lakels, you might be able to do that. It is gonna be How that finds himself finds himself the Sand King. Burst strike up on 2, but the blink forward, and that is gonna be the Man of Void to pick him up. It is gonna be Lakels and TNK running for their lives. Blind and Light trying to help out the exit, but that is just one hero picked up for basically no reason whatsoever. It just was awkward movement.
I mean, How was on the hunt. He was all the way through where the tier 2 was mid. I mean, he's got his heart. I mean, I don't even know if if there's enough damage to kill him unless they burst strike and RP and Phantom Lancer sitting there.
Yep, and Epicenter needed as well. Everything is needed up on Howie. I mean, he hasn't died yet, and that really shows. He's got
everything in the kitchen sink.
Yeah, he's got double the amount of net worth as the highest up on mid, which is the Phantom Lancer. Double. I mean, that's quite insane.
Immortality is mine.
I mean, TongFu, you have to commend the play of the supports. You have to commend, you know, supporting cast, because that's what gave him the space to become the monster, you know, that he is right now. He got to farm his jungle as much as he wanted. He got lane farm. He got a tower last hit. He got a huge stack, and now, you know, it's time for him to sort of put the team on his back and win the game. And TongFu, they've got Roshan. I don't know if they stop here, you know.
No, and MiTH, of course, I mean, they did it all consciously. Like, they realized, you know what, we have an anti-mage farming top. That is okay, because we are going to be having a Phantom Lancer free farm. But if you look at Phantom Lancer, he kind of got ganked at some point by TongFu, got killed off, actually died 4 times. And Hao never got any form of kind of harassment. And when he did, he knew that it was coming because it was an obvious gank. And he was able to jump himself away in time before anything happened there. And look at this damage already going through the tower. Burst Strike up on 2, Illuminates, they don't hurt Hao at all. And he's just going to be able to harass the tower. As maybe Lakels can do something here on the back end, but he kind of can't jump in here. It's too risky.
Yeah. And I mean, MiTH needs to be so careful. I mean, Mu, he's got an Aegis, he's got a BKB, he's got haste root as well. I think he's gonna, if he sees someone, he's gonna jump.
Some more illusions created, if he can.
But no rush, MiTH can't kill Hao.
No, and actually TongFu initiates. King J hooks in up on the Sand King. Sand King gonna get bursted down already. Man on Void picks up the Keeper of the Light. They find more, they find Magnus, they find Lakels, and everybody dies. Everybody buys back as well. Burst Strike up on Mu, but no follow-up. As there's the RP, hits up on 2. Mu and Banana gonna get skewered into the tier 4s, but Disruption is there to help save people's life. Mu's Aegis will still pop. It is gonna be TNK that gets out again to the base. In the meantime, nobody dying on the side of TongFu. They can just stand here. They just forced out 3 buybacks of MiTH Trust, and look at their HP bars. It's basically not showing, apart from, of course, Mu, who had his Aegis popped, which is nice for MiTH, I guess, but this is mission impossible.
This is so tough.
Oh,
I don't even know if Mu cares too much. I mean, a full mana bar for Storm after coming back from the Aegis is not. He's not too sad about that one.
Nope.
TongFu get the objective, and you know, back they go.
There they go. Yeah, let's see if they can. Well, they already had the Aegis, of course. I mean, they probably will want to go in again even before they have the next Aegis. I would hope at least that they're not going to be playing that safe, because they are so far ahead right now. Gold graph going towards the 25,000 gold in favor of TongFu. Experience graph already way past that, going towards the, I would say, 40,000 experience in favor of TongFu. And if we look at levels for that, you see that there's a level 20 and level 23 upon TongFu with Storm and the Anti-Mage. Highest is actually the Phantom Lancer upon MiTH Trust, with the rest already very much lower than them.
I think the golden experience graph tell, you know, another story as well. If you look at the moment where things started to really push towards TongFu, that's 16 minutes. That's, you know, around 50 minutes. That's when Anti-Mage is getting that Battle Fury, and that's when things just started to spiral.
That is when Magnus also left his lane to try and go for kills. That didn't happen.
But I mean, I think that's also just MiTH's lineup isn't really built to lock down and kill an anti-mage. They've got a lot of stall, they've got a lot of counter push, and they've got, you know, they got some good team fight. But when it comes down to it, you know, you don't have anything that's just going to keep him there so that you can murder him. And you know, without that, I don't know. At this point, with a butterfly up as well, I don't know how much, you know, Hao cares. And I think he's showing exactly how much he cares right now.
Oh, Hao finds himself a Keeper of the Light. How lovely. And then it's gonna be that one down. Hookin up on R5. Burrow strikes himself out, runs himself away from that. In the meantime, his team is dying around him, dying in front of him, and he himself dies as well. Only Weaver left alive together with Lakel's Phantom Lancer, and he is gonna be TPing back to base. SD gonna be just pushing top, because what can he do in the bottom lane? Nothing.
Yeah, I mean, SD has been... GG is just going to be called.
Radiant's bottom barracks
I mean,
has fallen.
I'm not 100% on this Weaver pick. I liked it when it happened in the draft, but then, you know, finishing with the Phantom Lancer, and I think it's really a trap at the moment in the competitive scene to say, okay, we managed to get Coddle in the first round. They're not going to see the Phantom Lancer coming. You know, we can do it and we can win the game, but it just leaves you so vulnerable. When you pick up the Weaver as well, you've got two heroes who are just waiting. SD's dead.
Yep. And I mean, the game was at the start a lot more even than we have seen it in the previous game. But in the end, the execution from TongFu just
Again, one more time, they had a plan, they stuck to it.
They stuck to it and it worked. MiTH, their plan just wasn't as great, and the execution with the RP just wasn't really there. I mean, how many RPs did we really see? I mean, we saw a couple of panic RPs when the game was basically already decided, but it was just the possibility wasn't there. And you can I can of course say like, okay, you know what, there wasn't enough RPs and Magnus, you know, bad. No, that's not true, because TongFu, of course, they knew that the RP was gonna be there, and they kind of didn't give an opening at all.